All right, everybody, Brian Engelman here with the New American Media. We are doing another show in yet another format while we work on the studio, while we upgrade the equipment, while we upgrade the gear. So thank you for sticking around with us. This is the Unhappy Hour here at the TNAM Radio Network. I want to talk some sports right now. We've been talking a lot of sports. Don't worry, I'm going to get back to the politics. I'm going to get back to the metaphysical, the spiritual, the esoteric, all that stuff, current events. I'm getting to it. But for now, it's sports, 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 sports. I'm a Cleveland sports fan. That's, where's it at? I'm trying to point. That's LeBron James, the cover of the Plain Dealer, saying, "Believe it," when we won the championship. Hey, what can I say? I'm a big sports fan. So we'll get to the other shows really soon. But right now, we're bringing in a lifelong Cleveland sports fan and former NBA scout, current NBA consultant, Zak Baris, to the show. Zak, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm all right. It's just been one technical glitch after the other over here, but that's life. What are you going to do? You just figure it out. You roll with it. You try something different. So here we are. We're doing video. You're just looking at me if we're posting this after the fact on YouTube. But we're talking with Zak Baris. Follow him on Twitter. He's at Z Baris. That's Z-B-A-R-I-S. Always talking sports and other stuff on there. Worth the follow. So, Zak, I want to split this up into two separate segments. First off, I want to talk about a little bit of Cleveland Browns. I know we're obviously ready to talk about NBA. That's your wheelhouse. But I just want to talk about the Browns. It's kind of breaking news. It's getting leaked today that, according to sources, Josh Gordon's application for reinstatement has been denied by the NFL. I want to get your thoughts on that.
I mean, apparently, from what I understand, from what I hear, that it wasn't weed is the problem. And hasn't been the problem for quite a while with him.
Okay, so is it alcohol?
From my understanding is it's alcohol, and it could be other stuff, but from what I'm understanding is it's alcohol. And you know what? I mean, here's the thing. It's very simple, plain and simple. People always go, the guy should be able to smoke weed, he should be able to do this, he should be able to drink. When an employer has their rules, you follow them. It's not that difficult. And here, this is a guy with millions of dollars on the line. I mean, millions and millions and millions. This guy could have been the premier receiver in the league, pulling down 15, 16 million. The premier receiver in this league on a 7. He could have been like that. Instead, he's facing another suspension. He hasn't played a meaningful game since 2014.
Well, hold on. You're assuming that the Cleveland Browns games have ever been meaningful in the past 3 days.
You know what? He played in some meaningful games in 14.
I know, you're right. He did. The Browns were in first place for a few minutes there before all the wheels came off. That is correct. But, I mean, break this down, though. Okay, so employers have, they have the protocol. They're saying what they want, what they don't want. I understand that. But at what point, what is he still suspended for? He's done his time.
Apparently he's been violating the rules. I mean, the guy's a total mess. He's had 2 kids now, where he's refused to go to court to even, for the paternity test. There's been 2 separate warrants out for his arrest for the paternity suits. Apparently he can't quit drinking. I mean, the guy obviously has a problem. He checked himself into rehab. You don't check yourself into rehab from having 1 shot of alcohol. Obviously the guy has a serious problem.
Well, hold on. What they're saying is that he might have checked him a little bit like Julius Peppers, testing for a diluted sample instead of testing for something. So maybe he checks himself into rehab to avoid testing positive for something, and maybe he tried to circumvent it that way. There's chatter of that.
Obviously, whatever happened, it didn't work. So,
well, yeah, okay.
He didn't apply for reinstatement at the time because he knew he wouldn't test. He knew it would come back positive. So, the guy's had every single chance. I mean, to get healthy, to be, all this motivational crap with his Instagram is just getting annoying. He blocked me on Twitter 3-4 years ago. So I've never been able to see his tweets in years.
Wait, he blocked
you?
Nor
have I cared. He blocked me on Twitter when the Heat won the finals and when he was partying with them in 2012. 2011, I remember I made a comment. It wasn't even bad. And I got blocked for it. I remember it wasn't even a bad tweet. But I got blocked for it, so whatever.
You got to create a dummy account. You got to create a sock puppet account so you can follow Josh.
I couldn't care less, Brian.
I know, I'm kidding. Obviously, you don't care. Why would you? But I'm just trying to figure out what are the next steps here. What are we talking about?
He's done. I think his NFL career is done. I don't think he'll ever play another down again. But I have to be honest with you, I don't think he'll ever play in this league ever again. He's too much of a liability for any team to even put on the roster and rely on. Because he's there 1 week and he won't be there the next. I mean, he's just a train wreck. You're going to see a 30 for 30 on him. You'll see some kind of a documentary on him in 5-10 years about what could have been with Josh Gordon.
Will it be the same one with Johnny Manziel?
No, Johnny doesn't have that kind of talent. I mean, come on. Johnny's 5'11", 6 feet tall, not even big enough for the NFL. You know, was a great college quarterback. But, honestly, Brian, when the Browns drafted Johnny, I hoped for the best. But at the same time, I was like, I remember watching those preseason games. And I'm like, they're not going to be able to move the ball with him as quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, I remember saying that to myself. They're not going to be able to move the football with him. It just is what it is, and it's unfortunate. However, you know what? I'm not saying Deshaun Kaiser's the answer either. I'd love to see him be the answer. I really would. You know, don't forget, at the beginning of the season, this guy was a projected #1 overall pick after the Texas game at the beginning of the year.
And every quarterback in that draft is a question mark. Everybody has things that they have to work out. Everybody says, "Oh, well, it's not Andrew Luck." Well, number one, Andrew Luck, have we seen his ceiling, or is he going to get better with the team around him? Maybe he'll get better with the team around him, but every one of the quarterbacks that were drafted, they all have a few areas where they're, it doesn't seem like there's a #1 consensus pick there. So why not take the guy in the second round? Why not take Kaiser? See what happens. Sit him on the bench and develop him behind Hugh Jackson. He's allegedly a quarterback whisperer.
Exactly the point. I don't want to rush anyone right now, but at the end of the season, you've got to find out if this guy's your answer, because you're going to have guys in the next draft. You're going to have Sam Darnold from USC, Josh Allen from Wyoming, Josh Rosen from UCLA, Lamar Jackson from Louisville. You're going to see potential franchise quarterbacks in this trip. Now, I just named 4 guys. There's a chance not one of them will be a first-round pick. We never know. Usually the guys who were super hyped up at the beginning of the year are never the #1 overall pick, ever. Andrew Luck was the last one. How often were we talking 2 years ago going, oh my God, Carson Wentz is going to be the #1 overall pick going into the season, or Jared Goff? Neither one of them. It just doesn't happen like that. It's Jameis was always, but then Mariota came on board. But Jameis struggled his senior year. He really struggled.
Yeah.
But I still think Jameis Winston's going to be a great pro. He showed flashes of brilliance. He looks like a good pro. And, what he did with Tampa last year and adding, Deshaun Jackson, O.J. Howard to the mix this year, I think he's going to be great. But I'm just saying, though, a lot of the guys, Matt Leinart, for instance, consensus #1 overall pick, falls to number 10 and has a blowout of his career. It happens all the time. Rarely is the number. Cardale Jones, for instance, too. After Cardale, they go and beat, Wisconsin. They go and beat Bam Oregon in the Sugar Bowl. They go and beat Oregon in the national championship game. Oh, you know what? Cardale's the #1 overall pick. Cardale's a 4th rounder based on what he did the year before. I love Cardale. I'm not taking any shots at Cardale. I'm just saying, this is typically what happens in college football. The pressure is on these guys to show up. I tend to think Josh Allen's not going to have a ton of the pressure because he's playing at Wyoming. However, can Darnold replicate what he did in the Rose Bowl? He was so good.
Well, he was in the whole second half of the season for the most part. Obviously, the Rose Bowl was that outstanding moment, but the whole second half was good.
He was dominant in the Rose Bowl. And then you look at a guy like Josh Rosen, who was the #1 recruit in the country at UCLA, and can he put all these flashes of greatness together and become the #1 overall pick? There are multiple questions, but right now the 2 best quarterbacks reside in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah,
one in Westwood and the other one downtown.
All right, well, come on out here. We'll have to go check out some games then. How about
Coming out for Browns Chargers.
Okay, well, yeah, we're going to that, so we'll figure that out. I wanted to ask you about Julius Peppers. ESPN in Cleveland really did a hit job on him, a whole lot of slander.
Jabril Peppers.
I'm sorry, I'm calling him Julius Peppers. Yes, Jabril Peppers. I'll get used to that. Talk about what's going on there, because he came in with a diluted sample, and then ESPN Cleveland had that woman on there. She's subsequently been fired, right? for running her mouth.
Sabrina has been fired. I mean, I'm surprised. If I were Jabril Peppers, I would take action against the station. I wouldn't even be surprised to see the Browns drop 850 as their flagship station after that. I mean, that was horrendous.
It was bad. I listened to all the highlights cut together with Hammer, with Goldhammer and Rizzo or whatever.
They didn't even take it off the air. It's on that stupid station, Land on Demand. I mean, ESPN 850 should be embarrassed about that, and the Browns should honestly drop their coverage.
Well, the Browns...
I mean, that is a garbage report.
At the end of what I was listening... Now, hold on. Here's the thing. She said she had firsthand knowledge of it. If she was at a party and she was watching him geeked out of her mind, then she's allowed to report, look, I saw something, I'm reporting something. I can't tell you everything about it, but dude is dirty, I'm watching it. She's allowed to make a report that way. But that's not how she said it. Well, she said it. She claimed it was firsthand.
Right, Brian, there's a difference. There's a difference. I've seen things before, and I've told you. You know, a few years ago, I witnessed something at the NBA Combine with the projected number 1 overall pick in the draft. At the time, I witnessed it. I told you about it after.
Wait, can we hold on? Can we reset it on? Can we talk about it now, or we still can't?
Still can't.
Okay.
However, I mean, I can tell you it was Nerlens Noel, but I'm not going to go into the incidents. But I knew immediately after the Combine the Cavaliers were not going to be picking him number 1 overall, nor was he going number 2, 3, or 4. I mean, he went 6, and then the pick got traded to New Orleans. I mean, the pick got traded from New Orleans to Philadelphia for Drew Holiday. I mean, don't forget, he was the consensus number 1 talent in that draft at that point in time. He was the most talented player in that draft, yet he didn't go number 1 overall for a reason.
It's not about talent. It's about the blend of talent and the right head on your shoulders. You either invest in Johnny Manziel, Josh Gordon, Nerlens Noel, go down the list, you know. But then Joe Mixon gets picked in the 2nd round. So I mean,
some teams don't always have the same character issues. I mean, there's a difference. He made, you know, I'm not vouching for what Joe Mixon all, and don't take it as what I'm saying. But I'm saying though, some teams view that as, you know, okay, he wasn't doing drugs, he wasn't doing this, he made a mistake. I'm not saying he made a mistake. He obviously did something incredibly stupid.
Criminal. It was a bad moment. I mean, but we've all been in places where we've been getting pushed and hit and verbally, you know, look, things can happen. And that was a bad look. What he did was criminal, and he got drafted in the 2nd round. Now, I'm just saying, for all the problems Josh Gordon has, alcohol is legal. I'm just putting it out there. He's still
alcohol is legal, but we also don't know. There's got to be more to it than Josh Gordon just drinking alcohol. I'm telling you, there's more to the story. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's more.
Look, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I probably believe that too. But I would like to see the official report from the NFL instead of leaked reports at this point. And if there is more to it, we better find out, because with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the CTEs, the concussions with the NFL players, all the stuff going on with the domestic abuse, the Ray Rice incidents, the Joe Mixon stuff, go down the line. If we're really still worried about weed or now even alcohol, you gotta kind of be kidding me, right? I'm really kind of getting frustrated at Roger Goodell's hypocrisy here, the ridiculousness. Dude made a mistake. What? He's never allowed to earn a living again? So he's a carpenter. He had a bad day. He got fired from a job. Can't he go carpent again? Can't he go build stuff again?
I mean, yeah, but obviously Josh Gordon can't obey the rules on any level. You witness other players able to do it. I mean, there's 2 players in the league right now that have suspensions like he does. It's him and Justin Blackmon, who can't seem to get their shit together. That's it. They can't get their shit together. It's it. It's that simple. Everybody else is able to do it. Other people are allowed to drink. He's in the program for a reason, Brian, because he keeps screwing up.
And fine, and I'll give you that. It's, you know, we can talk about Joe Mixon and just say, hey, he committed a criminal act. And he kind of did his time, and he had a lot of... But I guess my question with Joe Mixon, because, look, either you kill a guy and say you're never allowed to earn an income again, you just have to be a penniless bum, be in jail for the rest of your life, or we'll execute you, or what? You got to get a second chance. Do you get a 3rd or a 4th? I don't know, but I feel like
he's had chances. And he keeps screwing up. He keeps getting suspended. Joe Hayden was in the program. You don't see Joe Hayden keep getting suspended.
No, I wasn't. I was talking about Joe Mixon.
Sorry, I know. Mixon screwed up. But don't forget that's an incident they can't suspend him for because it happened pre-NFL. Yeah, they cannot suspend him for that.
That's what I was just going to bring up, was just saying it's interesting that...
There's a difference. You don't see guys like Ray McDonald and Greg Hardy got a second chance when he shouldn't. Adrian Peterson got a second chance. Ray McDonald got a second chance. all these guys got second chances. They didn't necessarily deserve them, but they got them.
Yeah.
And now you see guys like Greg Hardy are out of the league for a reason. Guys like Ray McDonald are out of the league for a reason. Because they screwed up and they couldn't keep their acts together. And obviously, it's a violent trend that continues that shouldn't be. However, it does. And that's, and it's a problem. So, obviously it can't continue. And, that's about it.
All right, so real quick, let's just do a rapid fire, just a quick stream of consciousness, Twitter-style response, 140 characters. You and I are both going to answer the question. In 140 characters or less, Jabril Peppers, is he going to be a productive NFL player, or is he going to have problems with alcohol, drugs, or other that are going to interrupt his career? What's your gut instinct?
I think if he's in the right scene with the right coaching staff and the right front office in place and the proper people around him, I think he will be okay.
Okay, I have concerns. Diluted sample, what I've heard, and I listened to the girl say it. I may have to go listen again to the ESPN thing.
She was fired for a reason.
No,
you have to remember that.
I agree that she should have been fired, and I think that she might get sued for slander. But what I'm saying is, what she said was a first-hand report. First-hand meaning I was there and I witnessed it.
I mean,
if there's more
Brian,
information,
I'm going to tell you this right now. Does it surprise me? Absolutely not. What I've witnessed with players being around in events before and partying with these athletes, I've seen it all.
Yeah, I
have. And I've seen it with the players that you least suspect are doing things.
Wow.
The ones that you would suspect the least. However, I would never go and accuse someone of doing something they hadn't done, and nor would I ever say it, because, again, she may have seen him at a frat party up in Ann Arbor. She may have seen him at a house party up in Ann Arbor. I don't know where she saw him, but she obviously said it on the air. She should have thought twice before she said it and said something about it to her producers beforehand, before you make, erroneous comments like that without proof to back them up. That's the issue. I'm never going to go over that. If I see a player doing something, fine. If I say it, and I see it, I have no problem saying it if it's necessary. However, I don't know. I think she may have spoken out of context when she said that. I do want to go back and re-listen to it, though.
Yeah, time will tell, and maybe I'll listen to it again. Maybe I don't care as much, but I have personal concerns. I've heard about Jabril's escapades and getting into trouble and infecting women with. I've read reports on that. I've read reports of diluted samples. I've heard reports of. There's a lot of shit swirling around him for this to be nothing. Maybe it is nothing. Maybe Bill Cosby didn't do anything. Maybe look, I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot attached to this kid, and I sure hope he's not a problem like the Johnny Manziels and the Josh Gordons we've had before.
Let's hope not. Let's hope that they're in a better place so they don't wind up like Justin Gilbert and wind up like Johnny Manziel. Because, again, I lived in the same building as both of those two idiots, and I can say firsthand they were both morons.
Yeah, and that's my point. You and I have had a lot of discussions off air that, unfortunately, we're not allowed to... you and I are deciding to not run our mouths off and release some of this information. We've had a lot of info over the years that we haven't gone with.
I mean, again, I can back up multiple Johnny Manziel stories despite everything in my building. The night he was suspended from the Ravens game when he was at the bar. Everything. Saw everything firsthand, and you would understand why he was suspended.
Yeah, of course.
I witnessed everything for myself, and I saw it firsthand. However, it can't always be repeated because I don't have photographic evidence of what happened. It's my word against his at that point. And again, the Nine's not going to be turning over security cameras to you.
Yeah, and you run into stuff like that. And look, it just is what it is. So I'm going to hold out that there's a possibility that chick spoke out of turn. She ran her mouth on some stuff she couldn't back up, and maybe she got in trouble and got fired for it. Fine. But that doesn't mean that it didn't happen and it's not true. So I'll let time play its way out, and hopefully we drafted some really fine young men who are going to have long, successful careers in Cleveland.
I sure hope so.
Hey, what else can you do?
Brian, before we move into our next segment, can we take about 20 to 30 minutes before we go on to the next segment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. I'll call you back when I'm ready.
To be continued. Peace.
Okay, thank you.